All right, everyone. I hope that you've come prepared today with your tinfoil hats because we've got a conspiracy. What the hell is going on with Mark Zuckerberg and the UFC? And since I'm about to talk about a conspiracy theory about a couple of billionaires, if I'm never heard from again, thanks for watching the videos. But just in case I don't get black bagged, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you can see more if I survive. Last week, in the lead up to the most recent UFC Vegas fight night at the UFC Apex, it was announced that the card was going to be closed to not only fans, but the media as well. Fucking weird. Dana was asked about it at a press conference and said, with his tongue firmly in his cheek, "Oh, we just figured that you guys have been so busy lately, we'd give you guys a night off. Guys, you're here on Tuesdays, you're here on Saturdays. We gotta give you guys a break, so you're welcome." So that wasn't the real reason, obviously. And then Mackenzie Dern, who fought in the main event of that card, said that she heard that Mark Zuckerberg had bought out the whole event, and with a $49 billion net worth, I'm sure he can swing it. I shared a post on Instagram recently that showed Mark Zuckerberg doing jujitsu and working on his striking because he's apparently gotten into MMA recently. So it's entirely possible that just some rich guy wanted to watch UFC fights without a bunch of plebs bothering him. But then Dana White sent a tweet saying very explicitly that Zuckerberg did not rent out the Apex. So basically that was confirming it, because in Dana White language, you have to take everything that he says didn't or isn't happening and assume that it did or is happening. He talks in opposites usually. And sure enough, come fight night, sitting cage side was Mark Zuckerberg. Also, his wife was with him and she did not seem to be enjoying herself. I don't know why, but I think that clip is just hilarious. Let's ignore the most likely explanation for all of this Zuckerberg stuff. That reason being he's a crazy billionaire who wants to watch fights without commoners around, so he paid the UFC to be able to do that. Dana White can't come out and say that because his whole audience is people who might be insulted if he says you're too poor to be around us rich guys for a night. Instead, let's be conspiratorial. How about that word? This card on paper was really bad. There was only one fight where both fighters were ranked in the top 15. Outside the main event, there weren't any fights that had much impact on the top of their respective divisions. And with the Apex tickets starting over $1,600, I don't know that anyone was knocking down the door to get access to a really weak event. Did the UFC create an elaborate and confusing narrative as to why the Apex was closed and plant the seeds about Zuckerberg renting it out by paying Mackenzie Dern to say that just so Dana could refute it to generate speculation and interest in a bad card, and also not have an official record of failing to sell out the Apex because no one wanted to come to this event? I mean, you can't fail to sell it out if you don't let anyone buy tickets. Or we know Facebook is leaning hard into virtual reality and the metaverse. I don't really get it. There's no jiu-jitsu in the metaverse. Is there? No, right? There isn't. Dana said a few days ago that the UFC will be, quote, very different when I'm gone, end quote. We'll just ignore that part about him also saying he's here to stay, because that's what you do when you have a conspiracy theory. You ignore the parts that work against you. Could Zuckerberg/Facebook be buying the UFC and moving it to the metaverse, and that's why they closed the event to the public and media so they could do a trial run in secret and set up the VR cameras and stuff without anyone seeing, and Dana will be leaving the organization as a result, since obviously a metaverse only UFC would be very different, just like Dana said? It could happen, but probably not. Probably just rich guys being rich guys, but that's never stood in the way of a good conspiracy theory before. I hope you enjoyed this trip to Crazy Town as much as I did. You can take off your tinfoil hat now and click on one of the videos on screen to watch those next. They're really good, and I'm not just saying that because I made them. Also, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.